It's a new age, the way we buy and sell cattle, especially in the breeding bull department. Crew, let's ranch it up. Good day, everyone, and thanks for riding with us on this all-new episode of the Ranch It Up Radio Show. I'm Jeff Tigger Erhardt.
And I'm Rebecca Wanner, AKA BEC.
A big thank you goes out to our partners, RanchChannel.com, Vollmer Angus Ranch, CK Bar Ranch, Wulf Cattle, Jorgensen Land and Cattle, Transova Genetics, Axiota Animal Health bringing us Multimin and Lactapro, the American Gelbvieh Association, Imogene Ingredients bringing us Pharmatan, Westway Feed Products, Medora Boot and Western Wear, Allied Genetic Resources and Allied Feeding Partners, LivestockMarket.com, EquineMarket.com, AuctionTime.com, the Tri-State Livestock News, RFD TV, Wrangler, and this fine radio station. So last weekend, you were at a horse sale.
Yes.
How did it go?
Well, you saw how it went. I did not come home with anything in the trailer.
But you bid about 1,000 times.
Yeah, I did. I bid on quite a few lots. Yes, I did.
And nothing came home in the trailer. So I was at home watching a few that I had picked out that I wanted to see how they sell. And things are kind of different. Remember back in the days, because you were at Kiss Livestock, it was the Hermanson sale that you were at. Remember back in the days on the corners of the bleachers or the stands, the seats, they had those two phone boxes?
Of course, yes, I remember those. And then what about right in the center? They had a couple of the chairs that were a little comfier. They had a phone right beside them.
For the cattle buyers. And how did we ever buy and sell cattle without a cell phone?
Oh my gosh, but that is eons
or...
ago, because if you ask the current generation that's coming into the business, they're not going to know what that is, because there's always been cell phones for those guys.
There's always been cell phones, there's been videos, there's been bidding and buying online. Well, times have changed. Maybe the appropriate terms are adapt and improvise, as Beck says a lot of times. And, you know, change is a good thing. And that is the situation with Wulf Cattle. Wulf Cattle, of course, known for their elite Limousin, Lim-Flex, and Angus genetics, and they host their annual bull and heifer sale every year. But when COVID hit a few years back, the crew needed to adapt and improvise the way that they had their bull sale. And they really like this new style of auction so much that it has been implemented ever since. Casey Fanta with Wulf Cattle joins us today. Hey, Casey, I know that you are literally waiting for the vet to come and semen check bulls, and you got to ultrasound and do all this stuff for the sale that's coming up. So I appreciate you taking a few minutes just to visit with us. Wulf Cattle is having an online-only live auction. What is that, and how does it work?
It actually came around out of necessity during COVID. When COVID struck 5 years ago, we were hit up with, we had to make a decision on what to do. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And we had been broadcasting the sale on Superior for quite some time already. And we had actually done some online female sales. So we reached out to Superior, asked them if we could come into their studio and have an online sale, basically. So we got our auctioneers together, headed down to Fort Worth, Texas, and had an online sale. Sold 400 bulls and 50 females, totally online format. We kind of liked it, and our customers kind of liked it. And so post-COVID, we chose to just stay with it. As we talked before, we have an open house the week before the online auction. A couple of days that's coming up here next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. We invite our customers in to go through the bulls, and we get a little more chance to visit with them one-on-one. And then they can bid on the bulls and heifers from the convenience of their own home, at their computer, or at their at their desk, or shoot side on their cell phone, or however they want to do it on April 3rd.
With the open house, obviously that's where you encourage people to, like you said, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, to come out to the ranch, the Sandy Ridge Ranch, which is at Atkinson, Nebraska, by the way. And we'll have all the directions and the information available in the show notes for this episode. And if you need directions, just get a hold of me and Casey, and we'll get you out there. But this is really for bringing customers out and like you said, visiting with them one-on-one. So have you found in that type of format, have you been able to place bulls a little bit better into operations where I might need something this way, but my neighbor needs something this way?
Well, our program is just a little bit different as we feed a lot of calves back from our bull customers. We probably feed 50,000 head a year of cattle that come out of the Dakotas and Montana and across the upper Midwest here, and even as far west as Arizona, that come out of our genetics. So it is very important to us that our bull customers are using the genetics that best fit their herds, because we get the results, and we share that with our customers as well. That's one of the reasons we like to be able to sit down with them and spend some time, not only making bull selections, but going over their carcass data on cattle from the year before, and even talking about the health of their calves that come in the past fall. So we track all of that stuff and share it with our customers. We very much, it's a supply chain. We value our customers as partners in that supply chain.
So when you say 50,000 head that you're feeding out of your customers' calves that they've used your genetics, now do you have reps that are going out and bidding on those calves? Are you buying those calves back? How does that work? How do you capture that amount of data?
We buy them back. Some of the cattle will partner with the owners. Some of them we just buy outright. We do that with our own crew. I mean, I'll go out and weigh up some calves, and Jerry Wolf goes out and weighs up some calves, and we get those calves back to our feedlot. And a lot of them we buy ranch direct. We just negotiate a price with the owner. Some we buy off of video auctions or what have you, and we still buy a handful through sale barns.
Well, you want to talk about a value add program, right there it is.
Yeah, we do the best we can. We like to find the producers that want to add a little bit of value. We do feed a lot of program cattle, both naturals and NHTCs. So the guys that are doing a little extra work, we can offer a little extra premium there on the calves as well. And we like to find those good producers that do a good job of keeping records and want to be progressive and be profitable in this business.
Now, this is really, customer service to the ultimate right here, because like you said, you're sitting down, not with every single bull buyer, but you said with a lot of them, they come to the open house, you get to know their operation, you get to know them. But then yet you still are having the live auction. So in Fort Worth on Thursday, April 3rd, you're going to be there, your crew is going to be there, and your auctioneers are going to be there, but that's it. So is it a bunch of computer screens that, because people can go online at DV Auction and Superior Livestock, by the way, you've got the two services to accommodate all the potential bidders and buyers. So are they just looking at computer screens? Is that what they're doing?
Yes, sir. That's how it works. We also buy a lot of bulls on order for customers. They tell us what their needs are, and we go through and try to pick what would best fit their program at their price point. As I said, we went with Superior. We've been long time with Superior, and they were gracious enough to open their doors when we were in a crisis, let us come into their facility and put on the sale. So we've continued on that way. We brought DV Auction on to carry part of the load. It's worked out really well with, no glitches or anything like that. And we like how it works.
Casey Fanta and Wulf Cattle, their 37th annual bull and heifer sale is coming up Thursday, April 3rd. The open house that Casey mentioned is next Tuesday and Wednesday, the 25th and 26th at the Sandy Ridge Ranch near Atkinson, Nebraska. Now it's time for a break, and when we come back, Casey's going to hang out with us just a little bit more and talk about this upcoming sale and a little bit more of the philosophy of Wulf Cattle. The Ranch It Up radio show will be right back. Keep it parked.
Limousin, Lim-Flex, and Angus, bulls and heifers, all from Wulf Cattle.
Join us Thursday, April 3rd for this online-only live auction. Bid and buy online at dvauction.com and superiorlivestock.com.
You want data-driven genetics? Wulf Cattle has them. Feed efficiency testing, actual carcass data, ultrasound, fertility testing, and physical soundness exams.
Limousin, Lim-Flex, and Angus bulls and heifers from Wulf Cattle. Online live auction Thursday, April 3rd.
Wulf Cattle, superior performance and profitability.
The 2025 world-famous Miles City Bucking Horse Sale starts with horse racing. 6 days with pari-mutuel wagering May 3rd and 4th on Derby days, coinciding with the Kentucky Derby that'll be shown live in Miles City, Montana. Mother's Day is extra special with the moms free to the races and more races added May 16th through the 18th. The world-famous Miles City Bucking Horse Sale where the spirit of the West comes alive. For a full schedule and tickets, head online to buckinghorsesale.com.
Real World Genetics from CK Bar Ranch. The CK Bar Ranch 24th Annual Bull Sale, Friday, April 4th at St. Onge Livestock in St. Onge, South Dakota.
Featuring 50 profit-driven Simmental and Sim Angus yearling bulls, genetically enhanced EPDs, free delivery with many Homo Black and Homo Polled bulls. Bid and buy online at DV Auction with videos, catalogs, and sale information available at ckbarranch.com and ranchchannel.com.
The CK Bar Ranch, April 4th in St. Onge, South Dakota.
Cattle Battle.
Hey crew, welcome back to the Ranch It Up Radio Show, the most information packed into a 30-minute program that you can find. It's your all things ranching newscast, and so glad to be hanging out with y'all. Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, Ranch, it doesn't matter. Give us a call or text 707-RANCH-20. That's 707-726-2420. Our email, ranchitupshow@gmail.com. Prowling around social media at Ranch It Up Show. Prior to the break, we talked with Casey Fanta of Wulf Cattle, sharing the how and why to their online-only live auction format, their open house next week, and how they work with their bull customers across the country. Now let's take just a couple more minutes to talk with Casey about the cattle themselves and the sale coming up Thursday, April 3rd. So it's the 37th annual opportunity sale for Wulf Cattle, starting out with Wulf Limousin, 37 years in the business. Those people that follow the Limousin or the Lim-Flex breeds, Wulf is right there at the top. So we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about the offering. I know you're talking 300-plus bulls. There's going to be Limmies, Lim-Flex, and Angus bulls, plus some females in the sale.
Oh, we try to have... we try to fill the needs of all of our customers. Of course, a lot of guys are running black cattle now. We've got a lot of black cattle. We've got Homo black bulls. If you want to be sure and make them all black, we still have some red bulls. We have customers that just love their red cattle, and we make those bulls to fit their program. All of these bulls have been, we do complete performance testing, of course, carcass scans, and something that's very important to us. I mean, it's not just a thing that we do because we have to. I mean, this is something that's very important to us because we're going to be feeding the calves out of those bulls. So we need to know how they're going to perform and what's under the hide per se. We also test every bull in the sale, or just about every bull in the sale if we can, for feed efficiency. We've got the Vitality feed intake system. All of the bulls go through that. Feed efficiency is very important to us, again, because we feed the offspring of these bulls, and we know the value of feed efficiency. So it's something that we've been working on we've had our own system in now for, just over 10 years. We were doing a little bit of testing before that, but we've amassed a lot of data. We know how these cattle are going to perform and what it's going to take to feed them.
I know you've got information on the bulls. If people wanting data, you've got it. You've got ultrasound. You've got genomically enhanced EPDs. You said you've got the feed efficiency testing. You're going to have literal physical soundness exams on the bulls, scrotal measurements. I mean, everything to fine-tune what that purchase may be. And you and I have been amigos. We've been friends for a long, long time. And you and I have talked about docility. And I know that in all your years, you have focused extremely, extremely hard on docility in these cattle.
Well, the Limousin breed, especially, has always kind of taken a hit for their docility, and I'll be, right open about that. Since that's the case, the breeders and us especially have taken it upon ourselves to just keep making these cattle better. We just keep constantly working on it. These bulls are raised on a big ranch in Nebraska, so they don't get a lot of up close and personal attention. So that docility's got to be there genetically. We feel like we just keep making them better and better all the time. Nobody needs to deal with animals with a bad disposition. We probably enjoyed it when we were young, and and thought it was fun to have to run away from one once in a while, but I'm not fast enough to get up
Right.
the gate like I used to be. So they have to pass the Casey test. I mean, if I'm not comfortable working around them, they're not going to make the sale or be offered even in our private treaty pen.
If Casey can't outrun them, then they're not in the herd, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So we've got
I don't move very fast anymore, man.
Right. So we've got the the open house is coming up next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, to come out. So how's the best way to do this as we just kind of land the plane here? Is it to get a hold of you, send you a text message, email, call one of the reps from Wulf Cattle, go online, look at the videos, start those conversations prior to Thursday, April 3rd? Is that kind of how we should start doing this in our bull selection with Wulf?
I'll tell you the best way anymore to go to kind of one spot and find everything you're looking for would be to go to our website, and that's just wulfcattle.com. That's WULF cattle.com. All the links to the sale cattle, the catalog, the videos, the supplement sheet. We score every bull. We put a score sheet on our website. It's just it's basically the opinion of myself and another guy. We score them for muscle, body, structure, and overall, and then a docility score. And we started doing that and publishing that, putting that report out or that listing out when we went with the online sale, just so that, that everybody had a kind of a fair assessment, I guess, of the bulls. And it's a little different. We get a good ground for our open house, but there's a lot of those bulls sold sight unseen as well. That kind of goes back on me or whoever you talk to at Wulf Cattle to guarantee that animal is going to be what you're expecting it to be. And if it's not, and you're not happy with it, you don't own them once they get to you. So we just do our best to make sure and try and describe the animals the best that we can and give everybody as much information as possible.
The details, one more time. Open house at the Sandy Ridge Ranch near Atkinson, Nebraska, next Tuesday and Wednesday, the 25th and 26th, followed up by the online-only live auction Thursday, April 3rd. Now, all their information is available at wulfcattle.com. That's Wulf, spelled W-U-L-F, wulfcattle.com. We also have all of this information available on ranchchannel.com. So if you want to talk to Casey directly or text Casey, head to ranchchannel.com. You can call, you can text directly from the site. Wulf Cattle, Thursday, April 3rd, online-only live auction, broadcast through Superior Livestock and DV Auction. Thanks, Casey, and good luck with the sale.
A quick update on the trade and tariff situations that seem to be changing all the time. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association has called for a halt on beef imports from Brazil and Paraguay over foot and mouth disease concerns, while urging the Trump administration to consider volume limits on Australian beef to combat an unfair trade deal for U.S. producers. In fact, we just talked extensively about foot and mouth disease and what it could do to the U.S. beef business just a few episodes back. In terms of value, Australia was the top source of imported beef at almost $3 billion last year, with Brazil fourth at $1.37 billion. Most beef imports are lean trimmings used in ground products. The NCBA's comments were part of a formal response to the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative's request for help in identifying unfair trade practices and investigating harm from non-reciprocal trade agreements. That's all that we have for the news. Coming up on the Ranch It Up radio show, we hear from Kirk Donsbach from StoneX Financial for a market recap, the crew from LivestockMarket.com highlighting production sales coming up, and cattle for sale, and we have lots more right here on the Ranch It Up radio show. Go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Attention cattle producers. Boost your herd's trace mineral status with Axiota Animal Health's Multi-Min 90. This injectable solution delivers essential trace minerals known to support cattle health and reproduction. Don't settle for less when it comes to your herd health. Trust Axiota Animal Health to keep your cattle in prime condition. Visit your local supplier or veterinarian to learn more about Multi-Min 90. Multi-Min 90, because healthy cattle mean a healthy bottom line. The Vollmer Angus Ranch Annual Production Sale Tuesday, April 1st at the ranch in Wing, North Dakota. Not only featuring the 2025 National Western Stock Show Reserve Champion Pedigree Angus Bulls, the 2024 Steer Harvest data showed Vollmer sired steers graded 100% choice or better with 82% prime. Sale broadcast live at dvauction.com and all sale information available at ranchchannel.com. Vollmer Angus Ranch Tuesday, April 1st at the ranch, Wing, North Dakota. Get ready for the Western experience of a lifetime. The world-famous Miles City Buck and Horse Sale is back and better than ever. Join us May 15th through the 18th in Miles City, Montana. From the finest bucking stock to electrifying horse racing, this event has it all. Don't miss out on the Pendleton Whiskey Kickoff Concert featuring Gary Allen and special guests Tiger Lily Gold. Mark your calendars and saddle up for the world-famous Miles City Buck and Horse Sale, where the spirit of the West comes alive. Get your tickets at buckinghorsesale.com. Welcome back to the Ranch It Up radio show. It's that time in the program. We check in with Kirk Donsbach, StoneX Financial Incorporated. We recap the markets from last week, kind of a little explanation of what's going on, maybe some thoughts of what could be coming down the pike, what could be happening. So, Kirk, numbers-wise, what's going on?
Well, good morning, Tigger, and all your listeners out there. As of Friday, March 14th, April feeder futures closed at 281.35. That's up 282.5 on the week, with the CME feeder index up 895 at 282.72. That left the basis, or the difference, versus March futures at negative 67 cents. So March futures in cash closed, and against April futures at a negative 137. April live cattle closed at 203.17.5. That's up 282.5 on the week, with cash trading 202 to 203 in the south and 205 to 206 in the north. The 5-area weighted average was unreported because those trades happened after the report date. The basis, and we're just going to go against cash trades this week, was negative $2 to $3. Weekly slaughter was 578,000 head. That's up 9,000 head over last week and 10,000 head below the same week last year. Dress weights were down 2 pounds. The combination left the yearly production at 2.3% less than the same week last year. To wrap this up, May corn closed at 458 3/4. That's down 10 3/4 on the week. Corn has moved into the consolidation period as it waits for the April 31st planting intentions report.
Hey y'all, Mark VanZee with LivestockMarket.com. This week I have a fantastic lineup of production sales to tell you about. On Tuesday, March 25th, Plateau Angus will hold the annual bull sale in Winter, South Dakota at 1 o'clock Central at the ranch, selling 100 registered yearling bulls as well as 25 commercial open heifers. Then on Saturday, at 12 o'clock Central, 3C Cattle Company of Hale, Missouri will hold their spring production sale, offering 47 high-quality, well-balanced Angus cattle. Lastly, on Monday, March 31st, Gray's Angus will host their Second Century Performance Bull Sale at 1:30 Central in Harrison, Nebraska, and they're going to offer 150 Angus bulls. You can view and bid all these sales and more at LivestockMarket.com. Do you have a production sale coming up? Learn more about Livestock Market's easy and affordable online bidding services by visiting LivestockMarket.com or give us a call at 844-775-4762 today.
What happens when a few ranchers go in together on a meat locker? Hey, I'm Shaye Wanner, and I host the Casual Cattle Conversations podcast. I visited with CJ and Callie Thorne about how they've continued to create opportunities where others see challenges. And most recently, that looks like buying a meat locker. Here's a small portion of our conversation.
You feel like you're backed in a corner some days, and it's like, I can't do anything about this. Like, I don't know how to solve this problem. But I guess that's when we rely on our faith, and that happened one weekend. I remember it was Sunday night, and CJ, again, we try not to talk business right before bed, but it's like, okay, we were talking about employees and stuff, right? And we're like, we need somebody really bad because we just lost somebody. And I said, I'll make a post, right? On Monday, I'll run the social media and I'll see if we can get somebody in the door. And before I even made a post, CJ had texted me and he said, hey, a guy just walked in the door and he's got meat cutting experience. I'm going to give him a try this week. And it's like, I guess that's kind of when you sit back and look and it's like, who did that? Because that wasn't me, and I think that's really helped us in our business.
Listen to the full story by searching for Casual Cattle Conversations on your favorite podcast player. Happy ranching, folks.
I tip my hat to you, from one legend to another.
Before we say fare thee well, we want to give a tip of the hat to all of you who have been dealing with spring fever, because spring is officially here now and the fever ends, which means bring out the flowers, start looking for the crocuses, find those bluebells, and hopefully you're getting some sleep while calving season is going on.
But what comes with the spring and the spring fever, what a lot of people are experiencing is the bad weather with tornadoes and that going on. So unfortunately, you got to take the good with the bad.
I'll agree. When I look back over the years, I got to admit, it always seems that this time of year is when we get the worst blizzards out of nowhere while we're calving.
Just knock on wood. We haven't had that yet. All right, now that's going to wrap it up for today. A big thanks to our crew. Casey Fanta with Wulf Cattle. Again, their open house is next week, Tuesday and Wednesday at the Sandy Ridge Ranch, Atkinson, Nebraska. We have all the information available at ranchchannel.com. Kirk Donsbach, StoneX Financial Incorporated. Mark VanZee with LivestockMarket.com. Shaye Wanner, Casual Cattle Conversations, and the boss lady, Rebecca Wanner, AKA BEC.
A big thank you to our partners, ranchchannel.com. Be checking it out for new listings and sale reports. Wulf Cattle, Vollmer Angus Ranch coming up here in April. Jorgensen Land and Cattle, CK Bar Ranch, Transova Genetics. Axiota Animal Health bringing us Multi-Min and Lactopro. The American Galvy Association, Imogene Ingredients, Pharmatan, Westway Feed Products, Medora Boot and Western Wear, Allied Genetic Resources, Allied Feeding Partners, LivestockMarket.com, EquineMarket.com, AuctionTime.com, the Tri-State Livestock News, RFD TV, Wrangler, and this fine radio station.
And crew, so glad y'all came with us one more time as we ranch it up. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook at Ranch It Up Show. Our email is ranchitupshow@gmail.com. You can call and you can text 24/7. That phone number is 707-726-2420. 707-RANCH-20 is what it spells. Spread the good word and join us again next week where it's always Tigger and Beck approved.
Stay ranchy and ranch it up.